Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the new screensavers is provided by CashFly at CACHEFLY.com.
The new Screensavers is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage from Quicken Loans. Home plays a big role in your life. That's why Quicken Loans created Rocket Mortgage. It lets you apply simply and understand the entire mortgage process fully, so you can be confident you're getting the right mortgage for you. Get started at rocketmortgage.com/NSS. And by WordPress. Make WordPress.com your online home. Plans start at just $4 a month. Go to WordPress.com/NSS to get 15% off your brand new website today. And by FreshBooks, the easy-to-use cloud accounting software for small business owners. Make 2018 your most productive year yet. Try it free for 30 days at freshbooks.com/NSS.
CES goes dark then shines, picking a Wi-Fi mesh router, and it only takes 3 words to find you. Live from the Twit East Side Studios in beautiful Petaluma, it's the new Screensavers.
Thanks to Paul from Sacramento, who did that very fine show open. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new Screensavers, episode 139 for Saturday, January 13th, 2018. I am Leo Laporte.
I'm Father Robert Ballecer.
You're back from CES.
I am back from CES.
This isn't a strange fever dream I'm having.
It might actually be, because I got a flu before I went to CES, which I think is bad form. I don't think we're supposed to do that.
Yeah, because you're bringing it to CES, so all the people come home sick. It's because of you.
I might be patient 0 for CES, which means Hase is patient 0 here.
Oh, I blame you, Hase. It's all your fault. Well, a lot of people did get sick.
Yeah,
Scott Wilkinson was talking like this. Paul will be back, I'm sure, talking like this. Dick DiBartolo did not get sick.
This is one of those years where I think it would have been good for everyone to be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
It was bad.
How many
really
people
bad.
at CES this year? Do you know?
So I know the last I heard was it had beat last year, which was 179,000.
Wow.
Although I don't know if they count all the people who left because of the blackout.
So that was on Wednesday.
Yeah, day 2.
Middle of the day, day 2, and in the central hall, which is where
the hall.
That's where all the best booths are.
The most expensive booths.
Wow.
And it was interesting because it got quiet. There were some booths that had some backup power, and it was that eerie, just quiet silence. With
Two
no
words
thunk,
that
thunk,
don't
thunk.
go together, quiet and CES. It is the noisiest. It's, talk about obnoxiously noisy. And so people just kind of sat down or left the area?
Well, people were encouraged to leave the hall, and eventually security came through just because, they probably shouldn't be there. But I had a nice conversation with some of the people at Panasonic, and it was amazing because I could actually hear them. I could talk to people.
Talking a normal tone of voice at CES. Wow.
It was, there were some bad omens. The first time I walked into the central hall, I felt some drips on me. I'm like, what's going on? And I look up, and there's not like little leaks, but streams of water coming through the roof. I'm thinking, y'all know that there's a lot of electronics here, right?
That's what happened, I think. We don't know yet. They got an inch of rain on Tuesday.
Which is huge for Vegas, by the way.
They get 2 inches yearly.
Yeah.
So, 1 inch in one day, they're not really prepared for. Google built a house out in the parking lot, a demo house. That and by the way, Google's first time at CES. They wrapped the monorail with Google Assistant, and the house flooded. They couldn't use it for a while.
I thought that was a feature, not a bug.
Did you go on the slide, the Google slide?
No. There were a few things that I really wanted to do, but the lines were ridiculous. Yeah. I've gone reverse order, where the first day I stay away from Central Hall. I just don't go there at all because it's just packed. So I did the Sands Expo with the Innovation Pavilions, and then I went to the South Hall. Second day is when I went to Central, and that's when we had the blackout.
Well, good timing.
Yeah.
We'll talk to Father Robert. He's brought some things back from CES.
Yeah.
We're also going to meet, it's funny because I was all excited about this a couple of weeks ago because I read that Mercedes was adopting a new geolocation platform, not longitude and latitude, not street addresses, but 3 words.
Leo, that's witchcraft. How do you find a location with 3 words?
We'll find out. The CEO and co-founder of What 3 Words joins us in a little bit. Jason Howell will show you a brand new file management program from Google that's designed to free up space on your phone. This sounds like a must-have.
Yeah.
Megan Morrone has 10 iPhone cases for iPhone 10. She'll give you her reviews. We got answers to questions and a whole lot more. But we got to start, because I know you have friends in Hawaii.
I do.
Cheebert's in Hawaii. This morning, about the worst thing you can imagine.
Not a great way to wake up.
You know, we all have now this emergency alert system on our phones. We, you know, when there were big storms here, you might even have heard it on some of our shows. The phone goes off, and there's a big, and it says flooding, or when there were fires.
Which are scary. When I get those, that's scary.
Now, and there are amber alerts, there are severe weather incidents, extreme weather incidents, and then there's actually one level you can't even turn off, presidential alerts,
Right.
which thank goodness we've never had. But in Hawaii this morning, about 8 a.m. Hawaii time, this is the worst alert you could ever see. Do you have it? It said, emergency alert, ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill.
Can you imagine waking up and that's what you see on your phone? That's ridiculous. That's horrible. And then a few minutes
What do you
later,
do, by the way, if a nuke is coming your way? Where are you going to go?
I've lived in Hawaii. There is literally no place where you can seek shelter.
You can go to the airport, because I know, well, they have, at least in Texas, they have tornado shelters. Maybe they have, no, there's nowhere to go.
You could go to the beach.
That's what I would kiss your loved ones.
Yeah, that's about it.
38 minutes. Here's a guy says, I'm in a parking lot in Waimea right now, and everybody's phone's buzzing with a warning about incoming missile threat, and this is not a drill. It's interesting, because he said, info, anyone? He kind of thought, this isn't.
Well, yeah, I've got a couple of friends who are active on Twitter, and they all did the same thing, which is, this can't be happening, but the news, the local news, none of it was on this. They were all doing their infomercial schedule. So it was like, wait, what's going on? Is this all automatic because everyone is fleeing?
I saw video of a soccer match, and you heard the warning tones, and you saw a crawl saying exactly those words. So if you were an infomercial and you didn't see something, then that station is going to get a call from the FCC, because they don't have their emergency activation network set up. You're supposed to. All radio and TV stations are supposed to do that. We had it here when we had the flooding. They interrupted programming with that sound, that annoying, jarring sound. And anyway, it wasn't real. But it took them
a mistake.
38 minutes to tell people.
That's horrible. That's absolutely horrible. I mean,
and how do they tell them? By Twitter. They didn't send another message saying, "Oh, disregard previous message." They tweeted it. Oh, wait a minute. Here it is. There is no missile threat or danger to the state of Hawaii. Repeat. False alarm. So we don't know. Ajit Pai tweeted. I'm getting really sick of Twitter being the way everybody communicates.
That's not a really good way to do it.
This is not a good solution.
No.
Ajit Pai, the chairman of the FCC, said, "Well, we're going to investigate this." We don't know. Was it what happened?
Well, they were saying, someone just pressed the wrong button. I'm thinking there was a button.
There's a button for that
did this. That should not be a button that exists.
I think you had to type it.
Yeah, this should be like a phone call or a talk face-to-face with someone saying, yeah, this is actually happening.
Well, somebody tweeted it, so we repeated it. David, is it Ige, the governor of Hawaii, said he told CNN it was a mistake made during a standard procedure at the changeover of a shift, and an employee pushed the wrong button.
See, and if that's true, you got to start looking at your shift change policy, because that ain't good.
I'm out of here.
It's been a bad day. You know what? I'm gonna share it.
That was
Here
easy.
We go.
Oh man. Anyway, I'm our thoughts and prayers.
Everyone in
This
Hawaii.
is a time for thoughts and prayers. Goes out to everybody in Hawaii who must have had a heart attack. I don't know what I would do. What would you do? What would we do if we got that? We would just run around and we go like, ah, ah, ah,
ah. You have to remember, it's a small place. There's literally
nowhere
nothing
to go.
you can do.
There's the ocean. I can go that way or the ocean.
Jump in
That's
a
the other
boat,
way.
maybe. And yes, I know that there's some people who watch that episode of Hawaii Five-0 with the bomb shelters in the mountain. No, those don't exist.
Well, and the thing is, it's a little credible because of North Korea.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit. It's like If it wasn't completely out of the blue.
If this had happened 18 months ago, people would go, "Oh, okay, this is a screw up." It happening now, people will go,
"It's serious.
What? Did this just happen?"
Yeah. I feel like, though, in the silver lining of this is to show that it does work. That system does work. Everybody gets the alert, right?
Congratulations.
Yeah, well, because we all have phones and they make big loud noises and big change.
Sorry, Cheebert.
Cheebert have you talked to him since?
I haven't talked. I'm gonna give him a call after this.
He's gonna have to get a new pair of
He
pants.
does have a
that's
bomb
for sure.
shelter though, so.
Does he?
Well, he's an old, intelligence guy. I'm sure he does somewhere.
He's in a mountain. All you have to do is. Problem is, you carve a hole in that mountain, you could hit lava.
He just doesn't like it because it's got really bad connectivity.
Shelter. I can't get on the internet. The world is destroyed, but I can't get on the internet. Facebook took a big stock hit, 4.5% stock hit, because Mark Zuckerberg said we're going to fix Facebook. And what are they doing? When you join Facebook, what do you think Facebook is? Facebook, the news feed, is a feed of the posts from your friends and family, the people you care most about, the people you follow, right? No. No. Turns out it really, as you probably know by now, it's really mostly news. Mm-hmm. And so they're going to go back to they're going to get rid of the media companies. Sorry, guys, if you built your entire business model on Facebook.
Okay, but Leo, is this tone deaf, or does Mark really have a master plan here? I mean, I can't figure this out. I really can't figure this out. I mean,
I think
that's
it's a
where
response.
the bread and butter comes
I think
from.
it's a response to all the criticism they've had over fake news. But this isn't going to solve it.
No.
Because your Uncle Buck's still going to share
Precisely.
the fake news stories. So you're going to still.
It's
in
not
fact,
the fake news outlets that's posting on my timeline. It's my Aunt Tilda who will
Jeff
believe anything
Jarvis.
that she sees, and she puts it out for everyone to see.
So have they implemented it? Because I went on Facebook immediately, and all it is posts from Jeff Jarvis. So for me, he is really overactive in the Facebook realm. So I don't know what anyway. This is what everybody thought Facebook was. I, for one, would be happy.
I pulled back almost entirely from Facebook.
Me too.
I very rarely use it. In fact, even the only reason why I had kept my Facebook account is because I still use it for authentication for some services. And even those, I'm starting to switch over to Google because I'm done with Facebook.
Isn't it a little frustrating when you don't have Facebook on your phone, which I don't, and you have to sign up and you don't have Twitter or Facebook or whatever? Joel on software, Joel Spolsky, who we've had on Triangulation, I really like him, had an article today, I think it was, or maybe yesterday, about how he is taking Twitter and Facebook off of his phone. His New Year resolution is to stay away. And he says basically, the blog post is birdcage liners. My New Year's resolution to give up on reading Twitter and Facebook because it was making me angry. It's not just politics, but angry. And he points out in here that really these sites are designed, especially Twitter, to just be outrage engines, to be
Well, of course they are.
upset because
They're chat rooms. This is the chat room phenomenon. It's just for a new generation. Chat rooms, they feed on conflict. They feed on people saying inflammatory
and
things.
it's addictive because you go there and you go, ooh, I got to read more. And it's addictive. So I've done the same thing. Did it before. I'm going to do it again probably. But I think this is a good New Year resolution for all of us. I'm still going to look at it maybe occasionally on the desktop. I'm just taking it off the phone. I think take it off the mobile. Right?
I like to keep Twitter on my phone. Twitter is the one
Well, where are you going to
major
go
social network
if there's
that
a ballistic
I use.
missile strike and you want to know?
I'll get a presidential alert. It's fine. It'll work. It'll work. Besides, when I removed Facebook from my phone, suddenly I started getting battery life. So
I know. Isn't that amazing? And,
Wow.
and sleep.
It's
And sleep.
okay, for that, my phone is not next to my bed. My phone stays in my office.
Yeah, mine too. But then I get up and I go to the office and I'm even more awake. Honey, why'd you get up? Well, I had to get my phone.
It's all fine as long as you put on the night setting so that it takes the blue light out.
No, that does not make
really
it fine.
No. So.
This has always been my complaint. When Georgia Dow was talking about this, I said, well, maybe. She said, no, there's lots of research. I said, maybe, but really isn't the problem that you're looking at your phone? I don't care what color it is.
Well, it's funny because I know I'm about to do it. When I'm kind of groggy and I'm like, oh, I want to go back to bed. But let me look at my phone for 30 seconds. That
Exactly.
never works, folks. There's no 30 seconds looking at your phone.
Take it off your phone.
An hour and a half later.
Take it off your phone.
Yeah.
That's the solution. Signal has partnered with Microsoft to bring its end-to-end encryption, which everybody agrees is very strong, very good, to Skype. Skype, which has always been encrypted, but with a proprietary encryption,
Correct.
is now, we know, open source, strong encryption using the Signal protocol. That is really good news.
And we're going to start to see more of this end-to-end rallying cry.
I think so.
Even from those people who aren't hardcore techies. I think people are starting to figure out, look, the more that you encrypt, the more you make it difficult for people to spy on you and spy on your neighbor. If we encrypt everything, even the things that don't really need to be encrypted, then it just increases security for all.
This is what users want. Encryption, in the terms of PGP, encrypted email, has kind of failed. It's too hard.
Yeah, it was too hard
I do it.
and deprecated. They deprecated that, so.
No, I do it. I do open, GNU Privacy Guard, and I sign every email, and I encrypt if people encrypt to me, and it's just too hard for most people, so I get very little encrypted email. But it's easy to turn. Now, Skype is going to be kind of like WhatsApp, which you have to specifically ask for a private conversation.
Right.
So just remember that if you want a private conversation, you have to turn on private conversations. But I think that's a great first step. I want Telegram to do it and all these other apps to do it. Let's.
I think you're right, though, in that it has to be dead simple.
It does.
We've done 3 PGP episodes of Know How, and we still have people saying, "Could you show us how to do this?" I'm like, well, it's too hard. Yeah. It's, if I have to teach every person who I'm sending an email to how to actually install this and use it, it won't work.
Yeah. AT&T had decided, I think it was roughly at CES, to drop the Huawei phone. This was a big deal. About 6 months ago, Huawei, which is what is the #3 phone manufacturer in the world, big Chinese company, announced finally, for the first time ever, a big American carrier was going to carry their Huawei Mate 10 Pro, I think that was the name of it. And then Verizon said, yeah, we'll do it too. Well, after political pressure from Congress, we think, or maybe the Department of Commerce, AT&T has decided to drop the Huawei phone. In fact, you didn't go, but the Huawei keynote was apparently terrible. The CEO's demonstrating the Mate 10 and lifeless and boring until he gets to the end. The teleprompter stops and he says, I have one more thing I want to share. And it was about, we've worked so hard. We know that if you don't have a carrier in the United States, you do not have a phone. This is one of the top selling phones in the world. And now AT&T is dropping us, and Verizon is apparently under pressure to do the same. Apparently that's when the keynote really perked up.
Well, okay, and I get this, and I know a lot of this is fear-mongering. That's a lot of FUD. At the same time, Huawei has not helped themselves. If you can look at some of the traffic that's been coming out of the devices, and I'm not just talking about their phones or their tablets, but also their networking equipment, there's clearly
something going on.
There's something going on.
See, I wouldn't use, I understand, I wouldn't use, and this is I think a year ago, the Department of Commerce said no government agency can use Huawei or was it Xiaomi,
switches, right? Yeah.
Because these are partly owned by the Chinese military. Their government involvement, and anything comes out of China. And I understand that for a router. But isn't almost my iPhone's made in China? What's to keep the Chinese government from going over to Foxconn and say, hey, just stick this in there?
Yeah.
Change this line of
The
firmware.
arbitrary nature of this seems really, really bad. This does seem like political pandering.
I guess you could say, well, if Apple saw a change in firmware, they wouldn't sell the phone. And they'd say, Foxconn, knock it off. Huawei maybe doesn't have the same interests. I don't know. I tell people not to use Kaspersky antivirus.
My phone's home all the time. I'm using a OnePlus, and this is very known for sending information back to a server somewhere in Asia.
Right. There you go. I don't know. Your phone is a spy device anyway. That's the next step. If you get rid of Facebook and Twitter, get rid of your phone.
You know what? Just unplug everything. In fact, why are you watching us right now? You're on the internet, people.
And live in a log cabin on the beach in Hawaii until the ballistic missiles hit.
There we go. Fixed.
All right. We'll talk a little bit later there's more Spectre and Meltdown news. We'll talk towards the end of the show about that. Let's get ready. I think this is going to be a very fun show. We're going to talk about CES with Father Robert. He's brought some stuff back. Before we do that, though, a word from our sponsor, if you don't mind, Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage is from Quicken Loans. Really great mortgage lender. #1 in customer satisfaction for the last 8 years for mortgage origination, for the last, I think, 4 or 5 years for mortgage servicing. That's J.D. Power. That means people love Quicken Loans. And you're going to love it even more there's all those awards, with Rocket Mortgage. Rocket Mortgage is a new product from Quicken Loans that makes it easy to apply for a loan or a refi right there on your phone. You could be at an open house and apply No more going to the bank. No more going to the attic to find paperwork. Within minutes, you can get approved for a loan. And it's not just simple. You'll understand every step of the way. You answer some basic questions you know off the top of your head. And then they say, all right, well, we have trusted relationships with all the financial institutions. Is this you? Do you agree? Give us permission to, pull some information about you. You say yes. Based on your income, your assets, and your credit, they will give you all the loans for which you qualify. You choose the rate, you choose the down payment, you choose the term, you choose the loan, and you then mortgage confidently. I think this is such a great solution, and it takes minutes. You could do it at an open house. Actually, if you go there right now and sign up at rocketmortgage.com/NSS, get the process started, then when you do find a house, you can very quickly say, okay, we need this house, this is the loan we want, and boom, you get a big green button on there that says, we're approved. You show that to the realtor, you're in. It's a huge advantage. Now's also a great time to consider refinancing. We had some people in here the other day who used Rocket Mortgage. They said we got the best rate. We shopped around the best rate for our refi from Rocket Mortgage, and it was easy. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently at rocketmortgage.com/NSS. You can start the process now or bookmark it, and then when you're ready to buy or refi, you'll be just a step or two away from the loan approval. rocketmortgage.com/NSS. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030. Rocket Mortgage, Quicken Loans. Thank you for your support of the new screensavers. Couldn't do it without you.
You know what?
Santa Claus is back. What?
CES.
CES. First of all, that is not an Apple Watch, but it sure looks like it.
It's got the Apple Watch wannabe look to it.
What
but
is that?
This is actually a Wii S. So the whole idea behind something like this is they wanted to give you the functions of a smartwatch. So it will do all the health monitoring. It will actually be a watch. It will allow you to do your notifications. Do
you have to pair it to a phone, though? Is it standalone? Or
you can stand this alone, but you really you don't get notifications if you don't stand it alone.
Oh, but it will do notifications. So it does everything an Apple Watch does, basically.
Yeah, basically, except one big difference. This lasts 30 days on a single charge.
What?
Yeah, so I'm not charging this every night. I'm not even charging it every week. I'm charging it once a month. And actually, I can go even longer than that if I don't pair it. If I don't do notifications, so it's not always pinging to my phone.
But it does heart rate?
It does heart rate.
It does steps.
It does steps. I mean, yeah, if you're just looking for a way to get some health information, this is a much more economical way to do it. It's less than half the price of an Apple Watch. This is what, $149?
And it's available now?
It's available now. You can get this on Amazon. So what I love about this watch, even though I haven't set the date yet, is that when I talked to them at Showstoppers, they said the whole philosophy behind this is they didn't want to be like the other manufacturers and put a phone on your wrist, a low-power phone on your wrist. They said, we want to give you a watch, and we'll make it a little bit smart. And we can do it at a price point that's way below what you might be able to buy, and we'll have all the functions that you would expect on your wrist. I think it's a much better way to do it than putting like an Android watch or an Apple Watch.
And the thing that's going to drive Apple crazy, it's indistinguishable
really
from it. I'm wearing an Apple Watch,
let
but
me take this
yours
off,
looks just like mine.
Put it next to yours. Look, you see.
Can you change the bands easily?
Oh yeah, of course. They gave me a box of bands.
It's a 42 millimeter, probably standard. Yeah, it looks like standard, and it has an easy off thing. It looks just like an Apple Watch.
It is an Apple Watch. It really is
Son
an Apple
of a
Watch.
gun.
Now, of course, even though the UI isn't nearly as nice, it is kind of clunky, but it does everything I want it to do. It will monitor my steps. It will monitor my heart rate. It's waterproof. It's IP68, I believe. So I can take this thing swimming, unlike the Motorola watch that I drowned. And it's at a price point where, I'll get this.
So tell me again the manufacturer.
This is the Wii S. W-E-S.
Wii-S?
No, just Wii S. Just looking for Wii S. And we'll
Not
have...
Wes.
No.
Wii Space S.
No, just no space. Wii S.
But it looks like Wes.
Thing. It kind of does. We'll have all the links in the doc.
Wes's watch.
I've been looking for a watch for a while, and I did have an Apple Watch. I found it was too much. I didn't need it, and I kept getting into this thing where I'd forget to charge it, and then I'm not going to wear a dead watch.
Yep.
If this just needs a charge once a month,
great.
That's perfect for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
So usually when we go to CES, what I'm always looking for, besides a way to get out, is what is the theme?
Yeah.
What did you learn from CES this year?
This was kind of weird. Last year, it absolutely was voice assistants. There were voice assistants in everything.
Yeah.
That was from Microsoft, that was from Amazon, that was from Google. This year, you got a lot of that as well, but it wasn't the big thing. It's not that people didn't care about it. It was, of course, it's voice
robots? Was that the big thing?
No. I'd say the big thing was the confluence between voice assistants, AI, and automation.
Okay.
Yeah, though that's if I
like Kohler had the bathroom that was all voice assistant AI, like if you went to the bathroom, you had to say, Echo, flush the toilet.
Yeah, I didn't really want that one.
Well, I think it's just ironic. The power went out, and the bathroom. I mean, I guess it had some primitive functionality, but it lost most of its. This had a skateboard?
Yeah, there was a lot of IoT / voice assistant enabled technology that I saw that was a big WTF. It's sort of like, okay, why?
I think a lot of this is they're just throwing spaghetti against the wall.
There was a
combining stuff.
A voice assistant bread box, and I said, okay, first, who still has a bread box?
How's the bread?
And second, what does that add?
What does it add? Nothing. There's no bread in here.
A lot of voice assistant TVs. Everyone had a voice assistant, either Google or Amazon built in.
We'll talk with Scott Wilkinson about TV technologies. Was Microsoft there?
Microsoft was there. They had a suite, and they had some of their technologies, but they weren't really pushing Cortana. Like last year, they really did. This year, not so much.
Yeah, I think they've kind of said, okay, we missed the boat. It's really a race, a two-horse race between Amazon and Google for the voice assistants. But maybe we can find a niche. In fact, one of the things they're doing is putting Echo into Cortana. But then there's some PC manufacturers who are putting Echo instead of Cortana in PCs. That's got to be a little scary for Microsoft. I think they might have missed the boat on this one. And what about Apple? Apple's not there, right?
No, Apple. And actually, this was a year of conspicuous Apple absence. Apple has never been at CES, but they've always been
dominated the conversation.
Correct.
Everybody's talking about it.
It's their tablets, it's their phones, it's their laptops. It was this. No. You could go through the entire South Hall and not see a single Apple-themed booth.
Was there at least some chagrin in the Intel booth and the AMD booths over a meltdown in Spectre? Were they hanging their heads a little bit?
No. Okay. The people at the booth, they are paid to be peppy and energetic, and they shied away from any of that conversation. I actually asked the question.
Bugs? There's no bugs.
That's been bothering me. I said, okay, how long will it take for messed up chips to make it into the channel so that I can start getting one of those?
Good question. I can buy a new
And
PC.
they said, oh, but that doesn't really matter because all the patches are going to make. Okay.
You should buy it anyway. Yeah. How about Windows on ARM? Because we thought maybe Microsoft's big. They're going to put out ARM-based Windows PCs. Did you see any of those?
I saw a few prototypes.
It didn't have the big
didn't.
buzz that I thought it might have.
It really didn't. People didn't care. I mean, seriously, the
what do people care about?
They cared about the cars.
Yeah.
The autonomous cars,
self-driving
were incredible.
vehicles.
Self-driving vehicles. Now, there was one company, I'm convinced that this company, or at least their technology, once it gets licensed, is going to be everywhere. There was a company called Coeco. I only saw them at CES Unveiled. I don't think they actually were on the floor. But they've taken the LiDAR, that rotating thing that you see on the corners of a car, which allows them to actually see what's in the environment around the vehicle. They've taken it and they've made it solid state. So there is no rotating sensor anymore. In fact, they've built it into the headlights and the tail lights.
Ah, interesting.
So you could take a vehicle, it looks exactly like every other vehicle, but it's got LiDAR into it. And the way that they've done it is they built it with MEMS technology. It's sort of like the DLP chip on your projector. So they can
it's
steer
rotating,
the
but
beam.
you can't see it.
Precisely.
Oh,
and
wow.
I mean, that's the kind of autonomous vehicle that people want, which is it looks like any other vehicle, it just happens to be able to drive itself.
Very interesting.
That's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now, one of the other cool things is, have you thought about what you do with your brain, Leo?
What do you mean?
Well,
what I do with my brain?
There were two companies that I found that have EEG devices.
Oh, I saw some of those.
Yeah. So
you put them on your head and it measures your brain waves.
Well, kind of. That was Muse. So Muse had created a headband that looked kind of dorky.
It does an EEG.
It does an
electroencephalogram.
But this year, they actually turned it into a pair of sunglasses, and you can almost not see the technology.
You can measure it on your temples, can't you?
Right, and it's sort of like feedback. So if you're trying to do stateful meditation, it can actually tell you whether or not your brain is active.
This is like we've seen this for 30 years.
But what you haven't seen is what another company did with the exact same tech. BrainCo actually had a demonstration, and I was able to do it. They took an EEG headband and they allowed me to control a robot. Just with my thoughts, I was able to make a robot pick up balls.
And that worked?
And move. It worked, 100%.
And the company's called BrainCo?
BrainCo.
Did they do the pocket
BrainCo.
fisherman? No, that's Ronco.
BrainCo.
BrainCo.
So there's a little bit of robotics, a little bit of
So you
AI.
put something on that you were actually able to get a robot to do stuff?
I thought there was going to be
No.
a long configuration process. No, they were able.
What did you think?
No, so he said, the guy who was guiding me through it, he goes, okay, I want you to think about just making the robot arm move to the left.
And it did?
And it did. I'm like,
No.
"Man, how did that? And,
That's okay. I want to know more about that.
And
That
so
sounds
what I did is like, okay, you don't tell me anymore, because I wanted to make sure there wasn't someone around the corner who was flipping the switch.
Because he told you go left, so they
Right, so
go left.
I just completely unprompted, I started making the robot like open and close its pinchers, pick up ping pong balls, and it did it. I'm thinking, how is this possible? So they've evolved it to the
Wow.
point where they can actually figure out what certain brainwaves look like, what a certain brainwave output should mean, and then they've been able to map it to a robotic action.
That I want.
That's cool.
That sounds very
But it's
interesting.
the same technology as the first one. It's just,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they've got that EEG.
Yeah, but how do they know what you're thinking? That's what I'm fascinated by.
I think they're in my head.
So you brought a few toys. Let's
I
see
did,
what else
okay.
you got. You got the watch.
Okay, well, got the watch.
I
Now-
ordered this. This is going to be out February 1st, $50. This is from Anchor.
This is from, it's the Roav Viva. It's one of the Anchor brands. So talking about voice assistants, this one actually goes into your car if you still have an accessory port.
I do, the Tesla even. It doesn't call it a cigarette port. It's a 12 volt.
So the whole idea is it's just like any other cigarette adapter. You're going to get two USB
Okay,
charging ports.
okay.
But this is the Amazon voice assistant.
That's neat.
So it's paired through my phone.
But you could pair it to the car's speakers.
Well, you have to pair this to the phone
Pair it
to
to phone,
the speakers.
and then the phone is paired to the speakers.
Correct, because
Got
it needs the phone for connectivity. Of
course, yeah, that
otherwise
makes sense.
it's kind of.
Okay.
But anything I can do with an Amazon voice assistant, I can do with this. For example, okay, I'm sorry for the people who have an Amazon voice assistant.
can't change
at
the
home.
trigger word.
I can't change the trigger word. I really tried. Skyla, tell me a joke.
Why are zebras bad at baseball?
And that's coming out of your phone?
Strikes and they're out.
But if I had this paired to a car,
It would
stereo
come into
right
the
now,
car
it would come
speakers.
out of the car speakers.
So I noticed on their website they talk a lot about navigation. That's actually not what I would want to use
No.
it for. I'd want to use it for music and audio.
Audiobooks. I do nothing in my car except listen to audiobooks. I have hundreds of audiobooks in my library.
I already have navigation built into my car, but I don't have a really good way at all of controlling the audiobooks. I could play them on my phone, but then I have to take out the phone if I want to change the book or something like that.
I was a little bit down on this when they told me, hey, you should play with this.
Oh,
And I was
good.
like,
Order
why would I
pizza from
want this?
Domino's. That's smart.
Yeah.
I'm at Walnut Carborundum Network. What? How are you going to get pizza in your car?
Oh, well, that's Ford. You didn't see that? Ford made an autonomous pizza delivering vehicle. No, seriously, they did. Well, I've got B-roll in there. If you rewinded the B-roll.
I am right behind you. Just pull over.
No,
Your pizza's here.
They turned one of their Fusion vehicles
Wow.
into an autonomous vehicle that it
Delivers
would pull
pizza.
up to your house. You would type in the code you got off your email confirmation. The window comes down. Your pizza comes out.
Wow.
It was, and they actually deployed those.
Wow.
And people actually liked them.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
go
So
figure.
this is the ROAV, $50 from Anchor. This is the ROAV, or I think they probably pronounce it Rove. Viva.
The Viva.
The Viva.
Yeah.
That'll
So
be out February 1. I
That's
pre-ordered
right.
it on Amazon because
Now
I'm so
this
excited.
one, Leo, I kind of like.
I need this.
Gotta bump that out.
But you're not talking about the speaker. You're talking about the thing you're going to, or the screen. You're going to project onto
So
that screen.
this is the new Nebula capsule.
Oh, I just bought a Nebula.
I know, well, you bought the Nebula Mars, and
Yeah.
I liked it. You didn't. You weren't a big fan of it.
I have it at home. I mean, it's okay. It's a small projector with a big battery. It has good speakers, but it's bigger than this.
It is bigger than. Now, this is a true Pico projector, so this is only 100 lumen.
How far away can I get?
They say you can get a 100-inch screen. I don't think you
But it's
want
too
to do that.
too dim to really do that with.
Right. It's only 100 lumen. Now, this does run Android. This is Android 7.1, which was, some people didn't like that about the Mars because it was an older version of Android. This has way more of the apps that you might want to do. Now, I can.
That was my only problem with the Mars. There were some apps I couldn't get on there. The Voodoo was missing. I had YouTube, I had Netflix, I had TED. said. These are the default apps
Right.
that it comes
So
with.
I can control it with this remote, but what I like about this is they also have the ability to control it via your phone. So if you've ever been annoyed at having to select the title of like your thing with just this remote, I can now control
that, yeah.
this.
For passwords and searching.
Yeah, or
that's a lot
for
better,
or using the onboard keyboard.
Nice.
And this does have a 360-degree speaker. So, for example, let's go to YouTube. It sounds pretty. Wait, I'm
what's
sorry.
the battery
I forgot to connect
life?
it to this
Oh, that's all right.
Wi-Fi here. The battery life on this is 4 hours. So it'll do 4 hours of
That's not
projection.
bad.
But if you just use the Bluetooth speaker, it will do 30 hours of 360-degree audio.
Okay.
So it's not bad. Price, it's a little pricey. It's $349.
All right.
So I know a lot of people are going to balk at that, but I got to say, this was probably one of the coolest pieces of tech that I saw that I could take home now.
And that is from Anchor. It's their Nebula
Capsule. They're
Capsule.
calling it the capsule.
Capsule.
Now, Anchor is a big story, Leo.
I got to get that screen. I'm more interested in the screen than anything else you've shown.
Now, Anchor started off as just a battery company. After that, people remember them.
Yeah, and they're good. I like them.
And actually, they really started as the battery company that just sold their stuff OEM. All their
Yeah.
manufacturers would take it, they'd put their names on it, and that's
Oh, I didn't
that'd
know
be it.
that. Really?
Then, I'd say, what, six years ago?
They said, we're going to be the Apple of battery packs.
Right.
We're
And
just
they
going to do it nice, package it well.
And they started buying up brands. So they bought up Nebula, they bought Roav, they bought
these are-
Eufy, they bought Zolo. So they're buying all these premium brands, and they're slowly building up this empire of consumer electronics. They're a company to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I really like Anchor's stuff. I have for a long time. All right, well, there's some interesting products you brought back. You didn't bring back a Bitcoin miner from Kodak.
I actually did bring back a Bitcoin miner. I'm not allowed to show anybody what it looks like.
Is it this one?
No.
Because I have a picture of it right here. So, wait a minute. Now, this is not Eastman Kodak, Rochester, New York Kodak.
No, because remember, Kodak went under.
They went under.
They went under. So this is the corpse of Kodak? Kodak corpse?
They are in Rochester,
I guess.
but they're in a strip mall down the road.
Yeah.
They're not a big, but they're making two things, which I think is very interesting. They're doing a Bitcoin ICO, right? Or an issue, their own coins.
Kodak coin.
Kodak coin. And then, which by the way, this is the key in the stock market. Their stock went because of the Kodak coin.
That's it. We're living in crazy town.
This is welcome to Twit Bitcoin, or I don't know, Twitcoin.
We could, you know how much, if we could make Leo coin.
No. I know I can make a lot of money, but so they're making a Bitcoin miner, but that's not practicable these days. You can't, unless you get your power for free. This is not. Is it an ASIC-based specialized processor?
Yeah, I mean they've all got their own DSPs. That's the thing about mining. When it starts, any cryptocurrency, when it starts, it's easy. You can do it on your laptop. You
Get
can do it on
in,
your
get in
desktop.
early because your Dogecoin, your millions of Dogecoin,
That's how I
worth
got
$1.50.
I know. I can buy a pizza.
Don't. 'Cause
At the very beginning,
you'll regret it.
the proof of work is set very low because they want to see
how these
the
things
economy.
work.
But once it gets up there, the only real way you can do it is by buying specialized DSPs that just do that hash. They just do the proof of work. And Kodak, like several other companies, has realized if we put crypto or bit in our name, we can boom the stock. And that's exactly what they did.
If that's not enough, they also, because Dick B.D. Bartolo was telling me about this, they brought back the Super 8 film recorder.
That's got me excited.
And they're selling film and they're selling processing. But get this, it's $3,000 for it's Super 8. $3,000, and then the film with processing is about $100 a reel. So I don't understand what the market is for this, but I guess some sort of nostalgia play. I don't know.
Well, you have to remember, Kodak is the same company that before they went under, they thought that by bringing Lady Gaga in,
that's
save
Polaroid.
the company.
That was Polaroid.
Was that Polaroid?
I understand your confusion. I totally do, because they're equally defunct.
Oh.
But I don't know if this is the same guy, or if this is somebody bought the name and bought a storefront in Rochester. I don't know, but anyway.
Surprisingly, though, Leo, now that you mention it, Bitcoin wasn't a big thing at CES.
It wasn't?
I mean, yeah, they talked about it, but you didn't see that mad rush to cash in on Bitcoin.
The word is blockchain. Everybody's
Yes,
talking
right.
blockchain, right? That's because that's the underlying technology, the crypto register that all of these
distributed ledger.
And that's the flavor of
That's the technology. I mean, that technology is actually interesting.
Well, you're going to do a know-how on this.
Oh, yeah.
I know. In fact, maybe I'll come by because
I'd love
I
that.
want you to help me crack my wallet open.
You know, they were specifically designed so I couldn't do that, Leo.
Everybody I know now says, "Is your wallet? Did you get your wallet? Can I have some money?" No, I don't. John found his wallet.
Well, wait, Steve has a wallet with like 5 Bitcoin in it, right?
50.
He has 50 Bitcoin?
50. The thing is, he didn't lose his wallet. It's in a defunct computer in the corner.
Oh,
The hard
no.
drives failed. And I said, too bad Steve Gibson doesn't know anybody who can recover hard drives. And he says, well, I'm just going to leave it there. I said, Steve,
Okay, no.
you've got almost $1 million of Bitcoin sitting in a computer in your corner.
You know, at that point, you do pay for one of those crazy expensive data recovery services that will actually take the platter
He could
out
get
of
it
the
back.
drive.
No, the drive's fine. It was a RAID array. He can rebuild it. He's just lazy. Lazy, I tell you. Lazy. Scott Wilkinson also went. Did you
Yes.
see Scott when you were there?
You know what? I think
crossed
I saw him
paths.
like in passing.
Well, as you know, Scott is our home theater guru, our AV expert. He actually is an editor at avsforum.com. And he went down there and I actually talked to him earlier today about what he saw at CES. Hey, Scott, we're recording this a little bit ahead of time so you can drive home. I always have to ask, how many miles did you walk this week at CES?
26.44.
Holy cow. That's real close to a marathon. But you did it
Yep.
over how many days?
5 days.
Wow.
Yeah,
So I have to
55,845 steps.
ask you about the big story, which is, I think, at least in home theater, the micro LED display from Samsung.
That is the big story. It's a new TV technology, not brand new. We've seen it before in professional and commercial applications, but this is the first one introduced for the home. It consists of tiny little LEDs in triplets, red, green, and blue. That combination is about 1 millimeter wide. They're about 1 millimeter apart. And they're embedded into tiles, maybe a foot square or something like that. And you assemble these tiles into whatever screen you want. And they were showing a 146-inch screen with a resolution of 4K Ultra HD.
Wow.
And it
That's
looks
big.
phenomenal. It's big.
And
It's
because
big.
of the tiles, you can get it in the house. You
Yeah,
don't have to take
yes.
the roof off the house. But I learned something from you and your article at AVS Forum that was a little disappointing. You have to make that screen that big to get 4K.
To get 4K, that's right. The resolution of each tile is fixed. And so if you make a smaller screen, you'll get less than 4K. If you make a bigger screen, you'll get more than 4K. If you wanted an 8K screen, you would need to make one 4 times that big.
So
Now they're working on reducing the pixel size and the pixel pitch, that is the distance between the pixels, to make they're hoping to get a 75-inch 4K at some point. But this 146-inch will actually be a product you can buy this year.
no price.
No pricing.
Yeah.
And believe me, if you have to ask, you can't afford it.
Okay.
But it's phenomenal. It's meant to replace a projector, really. And it has all the benefits of a flat panel TV, much better, actually. Much better brightness than OLED, much deeper blacks than LCD. You can watch it in a room with ambient light, unlike a projector, which you have to really have either an ambient light rejecting screen or a dark, blacked out room in order to enjoy the full benefit of a projector. This, you don't need any of that.
And
Perfect
OLED,
uniformity.
OLED has some negatives. It has a burn-in issue, and it wears over time, right? It dims.
Yeah, it does.
Does micro LED solve those problems?
Mostly, yes. Certainly LEDs they're very hot because they're very bright, so they will degrade over time, but it's a very slow degrade. So it's going to be years and years and years and years, many, many years.
And does it
before-
use the same amount of power as a standard TV, or is it a regular
Oh no,
LCD?
it'll be more, I'm sure.
Oh, okay.
They aren't talking about that, but I can't imagine it would be a very energy efficient sort of thing.
And it generates heat.
Yes, I'm sure it does.
That's interesting. Could
sure.
you feel the heat on the screen?
I didn't get close enough to really judge
They
that.
probably didn't want you to.
Well, they kind of roped it off.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. What else did you see?
Oh, tons of cool stuff. There was some 8K TVs, which I've said many times, 8K isn't really that important for just a 2D picture. 4K is plenty enough for where most people sit compared to the screen size. But I saw a really great application of it, which is auto stereoscopic, that is no glasses 3D. If you have an 8K panel, that starts to look really, really good.
Wait a minute, no glasses. How do they do that?
No glasses. They do it by, interesting, it's a company called Stream TV Networks, and they have a 2D image plus depth information, a depth map. And so it does have viewing cones, but they're very, very minimal. I mean, I just sort of sat down any old where, and I could see the 3D perfectly well. And I moved around, and the picture kind of shimmers a little bit as you move around. But once you sit down and stay in one spot, and I don't mean rigidly, you can move your head around, it looked phenomenal. Really great.
Interesting.
Let's see. The LG rollable OLED was kind of cool.
Yeah, we all saw that. Now, I misunderstood the purpose of that. I thought it was so you could roll it up and take it out, take it on your arm and take it somewhere else. But that's not.
Eventually, that may very well be. This was a technology demonstration to show they could do it.
And
they could make a flexible, rollable OLED, and when it unrolled and was up, in its position, it looked just like any other OLED. Beautiful, gorgeous.
So it's like one of those movie projector screens you roll down and roll up when you.
Yes.
So that's the market for somebody who doesn't want anybody to know they have a TV.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Let's see. Sony had a 10,000 nit demo. It was a technology demo, not a real product, but HDR, high dynamic range, maxes out at 10,000 nits, and no display up till now has been able to get close to that. So they did that in order to have some headroom. Well, Sony demonstrated that it could be done, and it looks just like looking out a window, much more so than any other TV I've ever seen. It's quite amazing.
Why would brightness make it more realistic?
Because go outside on a sunny day, look at a car with chrome and the sun reflecting off the chrome. That tiny little reflection is more than 10,000 nits in reality. So this looks much more like you're actually looking at reality. It also has much more depth without being 3D. It just looks like you're literally looking out a window. And they said that ever since the early high definition days, but this really does do it. Nice. One other thing I want to mention in terms of audio is Denon introduced a 13.2 channel audio video receiver, which lets you do 7.1.6 Dolby Atmos with 6 overhead channels. Up till now, that's been limited to 4 in the home, and now we have 6, and so that's a flagship product, but it'll be out this year. Tons of sound bars with Dolby Atmos, mostly using digital signal processing to simulate the immersive sound field, but very effective. Really, really good.
You find out more at Scott's website, avsforum.com. Scott, safe drive home. I can tell you're getting a little of the CES crud.
I got a little bit of it.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. What were you there when the lights went out?
I was just outside the central hall, and I heard tell of people running, screaming from the building.
There's something ironic that all those TVs, that beautiful roll-up LED canyon, old LED canyon, was just dark for like 2 hours.
Just went down, and how they rebooted it, I don't know.
Thank you, Scott.
Pleasure.
Now, really what you want is your 8mm Super 8 video film on an 8K screen.
Right, with 5,000 speakers. 2 on your hips. That's the good stuff.
I have to say, of all the things, though, at CES, cars is one.
Cars.
And I think home theater is another. That's really where it's still the big show, right?
There was one company I saw at Showstoppers. They're still a startup. I'm going to have a conversation with them later. They had an interesting 30-driver speaker bar. But what the cool thing was, there was an app, because they're steerable. So you can actually say, okay, I've got a person here and a person here. That's cool. And those 2 people will actually get the surround.
Yeah, that's neat.
It's like, okay, that's the kind of tech I like.
We'll see. Yeah. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Scott Wilkinson. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk about a really neat way of addressing any 10-foot square in the world.
Witchcraft.
With just 3 words. It's complicated, but you'll see it's not hard. But first, I want to talk to you about WordPress, our sponsor today, and I must say, my personal blog host. I love WordPress, and I'm not alone, by the way. A lot of individuals love WordPress, but also a lot of publications, a lot of big name publications like Quartz are based on the WordPress.com platform. That's pretty impressive. I've been on WordPress since the early 2000s. For a long time, I ran my own WordPress site, but I realized I was wasting time and money by doing that. Why not let WordPress run the server, keep the software up to date, give me support, and that's what you get at WordPress.com/NSS. If you have don't have a business, but you don't have a website, or if you have a website and it's just not living up to what you'd like, this is the place to go. It makes it very easy. You don't have to be a developer. You don't have to hire a developer. All you need to do is want a site that reflects your business, that shows your business off to the world, and then go to WordPress.com. You choose from hundreds of templates, make it look gorgeous. You don't have to do any technology on your part. They take care of everything. So it's very easy to get your site up and running, including social sharing. So your customers, your visitors can share your site on their Facebook or Twitter feed, helping you build an audience. They also have built-in search engine optimization, so your site shows up in Google right away. Their business plan means you can access hundreds of plugins and themes. What a great customer support team, too. I call them all the time. In the middle of the night, they're there Monday through Friday, 24 hours, and on the weekends, too. And I several times I say, hey, what are you about there? And they respond quickly. They're friendly. They're smart. And look at this. Prices start as low as $4 a month. Come see why 29%. Almost a third of all the websites in the world run on WordPress. WordPress.com/NSS. Create your new beautiful site, whether it's for your blog, your business, a new baby, an event, a wedding. This is the place to do it. WordPress.com/NSS for 15% off your brand new website. Go to leolaporte.com. That's my site. You can see my WordPress site. WordPress.com/NSS. Coming up, we're going to talk with the CEO of What3Words.com. I'll give you, what are our 3 words? Glow, nasal...
GLONASS? GLOWIS?
Glow. Well, we'll find out in just a little bit. It's how you get to us. But first, with every new phone comes a new case. And the iPhone 10 has many, many cases. Megan Morrone picked her favorite 10 for the 10. Watch.
If you have an iPhone 10, you know you need a case for that slippery little sucker. Here are 10 cases for the iPhone 10 that I recommend in roughly the order in which I recommend them, saving the best for last. Let's first start with the honorable mentions, the leather and silicone cases from Apple. I've had the Apple leather case for the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 7, and they're great. Simple, practical, durable, protective, and they come in 9 different colors. But at $50, they are not cheap. The silicone case is $40, and it comes in 12 different colors, but neither made my top 10 list because you know about them already. Number 10 is the simple rose gold case from Peel. If you, like me, were bummed that the iPhone 10 didn't come in rose gold, this is your solution. The Peel case is smooth and doesn't hide your iPhone or the Apple logo. Plus, Peel doesn't add any of its logos to the case, but it's not going to win any medals in the drop test Olympics. So I don't find myself using it very often. I paid $27.49 for this case, including shipping from Peel. Number 9 is the Caudaby Sheath. It's made from Shocklight, a soft, gel-like, flexible polymer with shock absorption. It claims to survive a 6.6-foot drop. The Caudaby case is a good combo of protection at a reasonable price. It only costs $21.95, and it comes in black, navy, and red. Caudaby also makes a lucid clear case with the same impact-resistant polymer used in bulletproof glass. Number 8. If you're not an iPhone dropper, consider the Totally case for only $19. It protects your phone from bumps, scratches, and scuffs, plus its grippy surface keeps it in your hand. It also features a raised bump around the camera to prevent scratches when you set it down. In addition to its form-fitting appearance, I like that it comes in a wide range of colors. I'm a big fan of the deep green version. It also charges in my wireless charging stand and on my wireless charging pad. If you like Peel cases, you'll like the Totally, which costs $10 less. Number 7, there's no shortage of cases with covers that also function as a stand. If you like to keep your phone's cover closed, but you also like to screen your calls, try the FYY magnetic cover case stand with window view function. You can not only see your calls when they come in, but you can also answer them. This case also gives you a window into what you're listening to on Apple Music, but it's slightly off and it would probably drive any design-minded person crazy. You also can adjust the volume when the case is closed. The FYY is the cheapest on my list at only $10.99. With number 6, we enter the range of the wallet cases, or if you want to be fancy, the folio cases. It's handy to combine the functions of a wallet with the functions of a phone case, but it's not always practical. Leo purchased a dozen of these cases and gifted most of them to me when they didn't work out for him. Of the many hand-me-downs, I was first attracted to the Davis case. It's made of real leather and it's both stylish and slim. It also functions as a stand and is compatible with wireless charging. I like the strap that keeps it closed, but I found that there wasn't enough room for everything I like to keep in my wallet, and I don't love talking on the phone with my wallet hanging down on my face. This one costs $40. Number 5, I wanted very badly to love Apple's new leather folio case for the iPhone X. It costs $99. That means it must be great, right? Wrong. It's fine, but it suffers from some serious drawbacks. First, many users in Apple's support community are reporting that their calls sound muffled when they fold back the case due to a covered mic or possibly a covered antenna. I didn't experience this in any of my testing, but clearly it's an issue for some. Also, if you carry any amount of cash or more than 1 or 2 cards in your wallet, it will bulge and then not close properly. The only plus is that this case looks good, and when you close the cover, the phone automatically goes to sleep. It works fine on my wireless charging pad, but it's not properly weighted to work well on my wireless charging stand and kept falling off. Number 5 is a fake leather folio case from China that I ordered online from a place called eCrater. It was only $35 and worth every penny. It looks exactly like the Apple case, except for a few missing stitches. And after doing extensive smell testing, I can only assume that it is not made of real leather. However, the seller also threw in this explosive-proof glass protection film screen protector in case of explosions. Or hammers, I guess. Number 4 is the BRG leather wallet case with detachable folio and zipper cash holder. The Apple Folio case is slim, but it becomes bulky when you add cash. The BRG case doesn't aim for slimness, and for me, that means a better and more practical product. There's room for all your cash and cards and even your change. Plus, unlike the Apple Folio, the phone comes out of its case, so it's more comfortable to use as a phone. My only problem with this is that because of the magnets, you have to take off the case to use a wireless charger. It's among the cheapest on the list at $19. Number 2 marks the end of our journey through the wonderfully flawed world of wallet cases and back to the stylish leather case land. I like the Nomad Clear Case 10 because it's unique and practical. It's made of real Horween leather from an American cow, and Nomad promises that it will develop a rugged patina after use. You can drop it from 6 feet, and it costs $40. And my number 1 case is the Pad and Quill Traveler Leather Bumper Case. I love how this feels in my hand and how easy it is to get the phone in and out of the case. It's made of real leather. Sorry, my vegan friends. And it works great with wireless charging. There are no cutouts for the side buttons, but they're still easily accessible, perhaps even too accessible. When I use this case, I often find myself accidentally taking screenshots or summoning Siri. But I'll take that in exchange for feeling like a cowboy when I'm using my phone. This case costs $59.95. And that is it, my friends. It all depends on your needs and desires. Do you love wireless charging? Are you planning on dropping your phone from 6 feet? Do you prefer style over function or function over style? I've merely laid out all the options, and now it's time for you to decide who you are. I am Megan Morrone, and I host iOS Today every Tuesday and Tech News Weekly every Thursday, and I am at Megan Morrone on Twitter.
Thank you, Megan. You know, most of those cases, I'm embarrassed to admit, are mine.
I know, and you know, it's amazing because, of course, I just got back from CES. It used to be that there were nothing but cases.
It was the iPhone accessory show.
It really was, but that's kind of gone now.
Thank
so,
God.
You know, finally we can review cases again.
I like the wallet cases, but I've gone back to the simple, just plastic sheath because the wallets go so thick, and I just want something lightning.
Mine's made out of bamboo.
Is that what you
It's
have?
renewable.
The phone's not, but
No.
the bamboo is. That's
Yeah.
good. Hey, I'm really excited about this. I read the news story that Mercedes, in their navigation system, typically a navigation system, you enter in an address.
Right.
Although there are many places in the world, Venice, Italy, for instance, there's no addresses. You go there, it's the house on the left after the fire hydrant over by the gondola. You don't. So it must be the worst thing in the world to be a mailman in Venice.
It's pretty bad, actually.
You know about this?
Oh, yeah. Well, yes. Even in Rome, it's not.
It's
easy.
crazy, I bet.
You give someone an address, and they'll look at it and they're like, I don't really know where that is. I can get you close. I'm like, well, how does that work?
So the other way to do it that's exactly right is what the GPS system uses, which is longitude and latitude. And every point on the planet can be, located with longitude and latitude. But go ahead and try to remember 40 minutes.
I don't remember that.
3 seconds.
Sorry.
That's crazy. So Chris Sheldrick came up with a better way. Every 10-foot square, 3 meters square on the planet, every one can map to 3 words.
I want to hear how this is done.
The site is called what3words.com, and the reason Mercedes is they're putting it in their navigation system. Joining us right now, co-founder and CEO of What3Words, I take it from the UK, Chris Sheldrick. Hi, Chris.
Hi there. Yes, from the UK, but currently in Vegas at CES.
Okay. So, in fact, at CES, Mercedes kind of threw a little more money in the pot, took 10% stake in What3Words. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. No, it's good to have them on board.
I love this idea, but you've been at this for how long?
This is our 5th year now of What3Words. So, it started as an idea, and I guess it's now a bit of an ecosystem.
Was it like a kind of crazy, were you in the hot tub when you thought this up? What's the story? What's the genesis?
Well, basically for 10 years I worked in the music business, and my job was to get people like bands and production companies to actually just arrive at the right loading entrance to a concert venue. And we just did this every day, and people just used to get lost, call up going, look, I've put the address into my GPS and I'm by a tree and a lamppost and I can't see anything. And it just annoyed me a lot. I tried to get people using longitude and latitude, as you say, and then people would then call and go, hang on, where's the degrees button on my phone? On one day, like a truck driver mixed up a 4 and a 5, ended up an hour north of Rome in Italy, not south of Rome.
Not good.
So I guess, not good. That was a stressful day. So basically, I just chatted it through with a friend of mine who's a mathematician. I was like, how do we compress like longitude and latitude into something which is so easy that it's like totally musician-proof, that no one's going to mess this up? And that's really how we had the idea. We were like, look, we just need to make something shorter. We can't remember 16 digits. And people have tried this with an alphanumeric code, but they have to be like 9 or 10 characters, and that's a bit like trying to use a Wi-Fi password, or the default Wi-Fi password, let's say. So our idea was, if we just use words from the dictionary, like table, chair, spoon, and so on, and we just name every 10-foot by 10-foot square in the world, of which there are 57 trillion, we can do that, and we don't run out of word combinations. So literally, square number 1 is table, chair, spoon. Square number 2 is toffee, branch, pyramid, and so on and so on. And you literally cover from the top of Alaska down to the bottom of New Zealand, and there's enough. So if I say, look, come to my office at Index Home Raft, it's the only one in the world. No area code, no country code.
I do notice, though, because they're 10-foot squares, that it's probably a good idea to pick the door to a place.
Yeah.
And what do you do about floors? Is there...
So today we just do the whole thing in 2D. Like, there's a hard enough time just getting people to the actual entrance of a building.
You could say coffee, toffee, spoon, 3rd floor.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, if you get
exactly.
them close enough, that's the thing. People are accustomed to an address which might get you somewhere close to where you're supposed to be, and then you just explore till you find it.
Right.
You just explained what I couldn't figure out, which is with that 10-foot square, you can say this window, this bush, this door.
My office has a different 3 words than our front door. And Now, how did you pick the words? First of all, how big is the vocabulary?
So we use 40,000 words in the English version. Now, that's a lot of words, but to be honest, we only need to use 25,000 words to cover the land on Earth. So what happens is in somewhere like, I don't know, Las Vegas, where I am now, you might find table, chair, spoon, pretty simple words. And in the Antarctic, you might find dodecahedron, hydraulics, esoterically, or something.
I noticed the word twit is in your vocabulary, but it's in Alaska.
Oh, great. Okay, so that's good. But yeah, so there's basically when people use it, it's probably going to be words they know. Is how we configure it.
And do you look for words that people can visualize? Because that is one of the things that helps you remember this. Is you can. It's a way of. It's actually a memory trick, isn't it? To kind of visualize it. Could you do that with this? We're glow walnut nasal, by the way.
Which naturally that would be us.
Yeah.
So actually, you don't need to try too hard, because if you're a glow walnut nasal, what we probably do is put glows plural walnut nasal, I don't know, in maybe Tokyo, Japan or something. So if you make a typo or you slightly misremember it, the app's going to jump in and go, you probably didn't want to take an 82-hour ferry across the world. You probably meant glow walnut nasal, which is near you. So actually, you can be a bit lazy, make some typos, and it'll help you. But yeah, there's no kind of rhyme or reason to where the words are. They will just appear random to you.
That's smart, because if I did it, I would put it in a grid. I would say glow is like longitude; it goes all the way down.
Right.
But that would cause more errors, wouldn't it? People would get close, but maybe 100 miles north or south if there was a typo.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So imagine my truck driver in Rome. He was actually driving from France that day, so he put in the latitude and longitude, and because he didn't know he'd made an error, because the place he typed in was still kind of near Rome, he just set off to the wrong place. So that's what made me think, hang on, let's not do it like that, even though it seems like the logical way. Let's space out the similar ones so no one ever goes to the wrong place.
That's really smart.
Now, a question. This is perfect if you're trying to find something on a large campus, but now I'm starting to think of indoor space. I mean, we've covered a lot of technologies on this network about
how do you find your
locating
booth
inside.
at CES,
right?
for instance?
So do you pair this with beacons or indoor GPS? If I wanted to take this to the next logical step, which is to make it usable inside a space, how do I do that?
So you can certainly use it inside today. So at CES, which is this huge sort of exhibition hall, loads of my meetings, people said, hey, come and meet me at custard avocado bread, and we did,
So
and we
awesome.
found that exact place.
That is so well, it's because you tie into mapping programs, right? So, for instance, when I go to what3words.com and I type in glow walnut nasal, I can then send the result to Google Maps.
Right.
So you're letting Google Maps do the indoor mapping in effect, right?
Exactly. We let the mapping and navigation platforms do the hard work. We are just this layer on top, which basically turns a 3-word address into a latitude and longitude and back again. And so everyone else can do the rest of it.
Look at that. The Las Vegas Convention Center is Matt's icon models. I love that.
This would be so much easier than booth 52553
Yes.
Tech West. I seriously, I couldn't find anything.
Cake
this year's
danger
show.
cheek, coach-headed third. You don't do this on purpose, but sometimes images do form from all of these. Duck Admiral Bend.
Yeah, I mean, but that's good, right? Like, people are smiling for the first time about addresses or coordinates, which have normally been this kind of real hassle to use. I mean, isn't it great that you can just get into your Mercedes car and say, yeah, take me to Duck Walnut Space, and that's going to just navigate you to a 10-foot square somewhere. It's great. Like, it just conjures up images or whatever it is, but it's memorable and easy. It's kind of the key.
My wife, who's very good at numbers, she runs the business. She's a numbers person. Says, no, I don't like words. I want to use numbers. But for most of us, words are a much more human and much more approachable way of locating things, I think.
Yeah, well, I think that the difference is either 16 numbers, which is a lot, or 3 words. I mean, I think in the US here, like often, you use this even in phone numbers, right? People are told to dial 1-800-PIZZA because a long number is just a bit more of a hassle. So I guess the concept is not new. We just looked at the size of the world and went, hey, this is quite convenient that we could do it in 3 words. If we'd have had to use 4 words, we probably wouldn't have done it because it's a bit harder. But it's just very convenient.
So for the first 4.5 years, did you feel a little bit like you were laboring in the wilderness?
So to start with, when you kind of go to everyone and investors and say, look, I've got a great idea. The future of navigation is getting into your car and saying cucumber, cabbage, lettuce. Get some really odd looks back and they go, well, who's using this? And you're like, well, no one. But I guess, things evolve, right? I mean, one of our first government deals was the post service of Mongolia. You've got a country there which is the least densely populated on Earth. And sure enough, the postman can't find people in the middle of the desert. And they said, well, look, can you do this in the Mongolian language? We said yes. And then we did a deal, and people in Mongolia now use 3 Mongolian words to get their mail. So
wow, so that's almost become their official. That's their official location information.
Oh yeah, if you turn up in Ulaanbaatar, the capital, tomorrow, you'll be given a travel guide by your hotel with 3 words for everywhere in it. Yeah, you can use it in English, and you can get away. I mean, get around. It's amazing. But once you gather these all up, the UN have it in one of their apps. We use for disaster relief internationally. There's a whole bunch of navigation apps. That's what then gets people like Mercedes interested, who go, look, this looks like it's the future, and do you know what? This is much easier than using a longitude and latitude. And I guess the car companies are also thinking, well, autonomous cars are coming.
Yeah.
And then you've got no steering wheel, no pedals. So all those times when you put an address in, and it kind of says you've arrived, and actually you're in the middle of the road going, well, I haven't. So maybe you reverse a bit and find it. Well, you got no steering wheel, no pedals.
Can't do it.
You can't do that. So everyone has to start thinking, how am I going to get people to exactly the right place? I mean, what if drone delivery takes off? You can't just give an address, which is your whole property. Like, you need to say, well, it's this bit in my garden.
Here.
So, yeah. Everyone needs to start thinking.
You're an idea whose time has come. This is going to be... So do you feel like you're like the momentum, like the train is starting to leave the station? I mean, this is pretty exciting.
Yeah, the train's definitely left the station. We're kind of on a trajectory. And it is an interesting bit because we tell people about what we're doing, and they're kind of like, hang on, Mongolia, Mercedes, and people look at you like that this guy's either crazy or genius, and maybe slightly unsure which. And I guess, look, the more that we start to normalize this, because the first time you try it, it feels a bit weird, and you might use it once to meet a friend and go, well, that was weird, but you know what, it worked. And then the second and third time, it's like, actually, just let's use that again because it works and it becomes more normal.
I ordered, you can go onto the site and order a sign with your 3 words.
With your location? Yeah.
Are you giving those away? I don't understand that.
It depends what kind of sign you want. So some of them we're doing as kind of promotional stuff, and some of them are really nice ones you can pay for. But go to the What 3 Words site and have a look around. There's signs. There's cool stuff.
I ordered glow walnut nasal. I'm going to hang
my new office
in the Vatican. Yeah, you should. Yeah, the Vatican, by the way, is Lay's coherent snips.
But what 10-foot square?
Oh well, we don't know. Right.
Yeah. That's the point. Is it the entrance?
Now I understand how this is allowing some countries to bypass a more rudimentary logistical setup, because now you're giving them the power of saying, okay, this is exactly where I want you to go. But my question to you is, so where do you grow this next? You've got the grid system, you've got some buy-in, you've got countries and companies both interested. So what happens to 3 words in 10 years?
Well, I think what we want to be is a standard. We want to be the norm.
You want to be open. You don't want to be any one company, right? I mean...
I think as a company, we have the ability to scale, right? Because people need to know about What 3 Words. That's the key thing. How are people going to know about it? Right. So when you see it on a business card and someone's got cucumber, cabbage, potato on there, that you're not looking at it that like, what is this? It becomes as familiar as the @ symbol for Twitter.
Right.
And if someone is sort of outside a bar yelling, "Hey, just come and meet me at potato ceiling cupboard," that just feels entirely normal. Now, to get there, yes, we need more and more countries to adopt this. We've got developing nation governments. And for many of these guys, they've got 2 options. One is, let's name every street, because a lot of these countries they haven't done, and it can take 10 years, tens of millions of dollars. Or we say, well, look, here's something ready-made. It may well be in their national language, because we do 14 languages and a load more coming. And we say, look, it's ready now. And if you want to do e-commerce and other stuff, well, it's ready to go. So that's the thing. It's just, in many ways, it's entirely logical, because, well, why are we using tech from the 18th century to deliver mail manually in the year 2018 to tell autonomous cars where to go? It kind of seems backwards to me. So we just want to become a global standard so everyone understands it and can use it.
Yeah.
And then there's no need for all these kind of complicated and bizarre addresses which really don't work that well.
Who does standards for this kind of thing? Is there a open GIS forum or
maybe? I don't know.
Well, I think some standards just evolved naturally.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Twitter was a company which said, "Hey, you can do a tweet," and then over the passage of time, it's what governments and all sorts of organizations choose to be their standard way of talking about things.
Right.
And I think that's a good analogy, actually. Like, we came up with an idea, But if you just open source it, like some of the other efforts were in the past with these long alphanumeric codes, and said, look, I fixed the global addressing problem, then it's like, well, fine, but nobody knows it exists. So
Right.
I think we'd like to emulate what Twitter have done and slowly build, be responsible about how the technology is used, make sure it's accessible where it needs to be for charitable uses and things like this, but build it so that 7 billion people in the world can use a 3-word address and get around.
You work with non-Roman alphabets, and do you work with right-to-left alphabets as well?
Yeah, we do. We do Arabic, which is right to left. We do Mongolian's a pretty good example of a non-Roman alphabet. It's also very difficult. And we've just done Thai. We're doing Hindi at the moment. So yeah, it's there isn't really any issue on the language front. But the thing which takes time is we have to get 40 linguists to literally go through the dictionary one by one and say this word is suitable, this word is not suitable. And from having done that when we were very early with no money, I had to spend a long time looking at the English dictionary, and it's not fun work going through 40,000 words.
You have to eschew homonyms, for instance, right? Because that would be ambiguous. It's not. I can see why it's difficult, especially 40,000 words. That's a fairly large vocabulary.
But you know what you've just done, though? You've just created a new gold rush, because there are going to be companies looking at this, trying to get the 3 perfect words. They want like gold, platinum, diamond. They're gonna be setting up their headquarters in places where they can get these.
I just want to say we're moving the Twit studios to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska, where twit.twit.twit is. And that will be our new headquarters. Easy to remember.
That would be a great story. Tell us when you do.
I will. Hey, Chris, it's really great to talk to you. And I'm thrilled that you came up with this. And I'm really excited that it's gaining the momentum it is. And Mercedes, really, that's huge. So you'll get in a Mercedes, talk to the speech system, give it 3 words, and the map will then go to where you want to go, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Just say, navigate me to table, chair, spoon. Then the Mercedes will just say, great, off we go.
That's amazing. I love it. CEO and co-founder of What 3 Words, what3words.com. Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I appreciate it. So we got to figure out.
I'm already thinking my 3 words.
Yeah. So we got to figure out where the Vatican is. The Statue of Liberty is planet inches most. The Eiffel Tower is prices, slippery traps. Although, again, you could actually say, well, is that the north or the south leg? I mean, what part of it? Because it's 10 feet square, 3 meters square.
Well, the Vatican is Lay's coherent snips. So if I move my office around a little bit, I might be able to get like Lay's potato chips and get a sponsorship deal.
Is that the Basilica right there? Is that where you are?
Oh, no, so actually, move them out. Oh, wait. Okay, a little bit over to the right.
Oh yeah,
over
you can actually find your housing.
Yeah, and a little bit down, a bit more to the right.
Are you in the that's a cemetery. You're not in there.
No. Oh, get right. Go to the right. Right. There I am. Right by the
Piazza
plaza.
del Proto
In the lower right corner, that's where I'm going to be.
Agreeing words, frogs. That's where Father Robert is. Just remember that the next time you're in Rome.
Gotta move.
Hey, I want to go to Agreeing Words, Frogs. I love it there. It's my favorite guy. Oh. That is so. I love it. So I ordered the sign. It was free. And then I'm thinking that our business card should say, what is it, glow walnut nasal?
Well, I mean, every 10
that right?
feet,
is that the right order?
A lot of signs in this place.
No, you want the front door so people don't just stand out there in the grass and say, I'm here.
We need the location of the TriCaster. We need the TriCaster's 3 words.
Oh, God help me, I think. I think that's it. Yeah.
God help me.
Oh.
That would be a good one.
Yeah. I'm just glad that twit is one of the words that made it into the vocabulary. That's freaking awesome. Well, thank you, Chris. It's now time. In fact, we should go back over to the other set because it's time for a call for help. All right, it's time for the, who do we have on the line here? Wait a minute, I think this is a pre-record. Yeah, Ron from Glastonbury, Connecticut. Hey, Ron.
Hey, guys, thank you for taking my call. My question is, I'm looking for a wireless mesh solution that can satisfy 2 criteria. One is be able to manage multiple homes. So I have a primary home and my father's home, and next month I'll have an apartment, so it'll be 3 locations. I preferably have one application that can manage the Wi-Fi networks in all 3. And the second criteria is, can you set an automatic data cap on it? So we have Cox Communications at home. We're restricted to 1 terabyte of bandwidth a month, and we've been going over that. We have a lot of family. We have 2 televisions streaming Netflix or Amazon Prime, online gaming, and then when any games you install on the Xbox will automatically download updates periodically. So there's a lot of things that contribute to the bandwidth we're consuming. We have a Nest thermostat, a Nest Cam. So, and we've been basically paying twice for a data plan. So we're looking to manage multiple homes and looking for a wireless mesh solution that can satisfy those 2 things. Thanks.
Good question, and I know you have some thoughts. In fact, I want to get your thoughts on the bandwidth cap. Gosh, a terabyte's hardly anything.
I hate bandwidth caps.
But I will say I use Eero for exactly what he does. I manage my mom's Eero network in Cranston, Rhode Island, and my Eero network here using the Eero app, and it's very easy. This is mom's network. Everything, and this is nice because if mom says I'm having trouble with my network, I can see which Eeros she has. If one of them's down, it'll be red. I can see what devices are connected. I get a very good idea of what's going on with her network, and I can troubleshoot it remotely. And it's easy to, in fact, there's even a menu item, switch networks, to go from her network to my network. She has 7 connected devices. I have 42. There's a slight difference between the 2 networks, but this is great, and a lot of the management stuff that you want is there, except for that one thing, which I'm hoping Robert can help us with, which is the bandwidth cap.
Right.
So now Google Wi-Fi does something very similar. In fact, Google Wi-Fi lets people, this is kind of new, lets you invite trusted people to manage your network as well. So your parents could have their own separate network and their own separate Google account, but they can invite you in to manage their network as well. So it's even more flexible in that regard. But I don't think either one, I'll show you the thing that Eero and Google do is you can look at the devices on there, and this actually ranks the devices by usage.
Right.
So you can see how much bandwidth devices are using, which is useful. You can see where you stand. Here's Michael's computer, and I could see what's going on. I could see how much bandwidth he's used and so forth. But I don't think I can get an aggregate total of all the Wi-Fi or all the bits and bytes that it's downloaded. So I'm not sure exactly how to do that. But I should mention Eero is a sponsor, but we've used them all.
Yeah, there are some tools that we've shown off on Know-How that can count up the amount of traffic that's actually passing.
Could you like
through
just
your
put a
network.
Raspberry Pi on the network and have it watch or something like that?
Probably don't want a Raspberry Pi because then you'd be limiting yourself to the throughput that you could get on the Pi itself.
Don't want that.
You definitely don't want that.
I mean, the router's the right place to do this.
Yeah, and if you have a more advanced router, something like one of the higher end Asus or the Synology,
They'll do it, I know.
They'll do it absolutely. I kind of take a different approach just because I'm more of an enterprise guy, and so there are 2 companies that have products that I enjoy. One is called Ubiquiti. They make some very good web-based GUI.
They make a home version called the Amplify, which we do not recommend.
We do not know.
I don't think it's very good. But
and actually that's why instead of that, I've used this a lot when I'm deploying for homes.
This is a business. This is an enterprise.
This is absolutely an enterprise product. I mean, this thing is going to run you about $170.
Well, that's not too bad. That's less than an Eero system.
Right. But I mean, the nice thing about this is an enterprise product. Yeah. So I do get a web-based management platform. So if I have this in multiple houses, multiple branches, I can manage them all from one place. And it does give me all the controls I can expect for the enterprise. So not only can I see exactly how much data is flowing through this on what devices, but I can do things like QoS. I can limit certain devices to only, you can use up this much bandwidth.
Right.
Or once you hit this in a month or in a time period, you can't access
See, those are great features, and I think all the mesh routers have decided that you don't want to get too granular. It's overcomplicated. It's hard for people to manage. I think Eero and the Linksys Ubiquiti probably give you the most sophisticated a variety of tools. Nothing like that, though.
Nothing like this.
Some like the Plume, which I've used, are simpler than that. They don't give you much. But remember, you can almost always, if the ISP has a bandwidth cap, go to the ISP. And frankly, they're the only one that matters, and see what the ISP says you've used. I can go to my ISP Comcast, which gives me 3 terabytes, and I can get at any given time. I just log into my account. You could log into your parents' account and see where they stand. Because if you're going to do bandwidth caps, they got to let you know, right? Well, and it really doesn't matter what the router says or some device you put on there. It matters what Comcast or their internet service provider thinks, because that's the final determiner.
That was a really big thing a few years ago, because people were noticing that
they didn't match.
What their router was saying they were using did not match what Comcast or Verizon or AT&T said they were using.
Yeah, that's maybe why you want to look, but what are you going to do? You're going to go complain to them?
Yeah. And then
Good luck.
The other part is the remediation. I mean, if you are capped, sure, you can find out that you're really close to the cap or you're over the cap, but
what are you gonna do?
Do you do?
Yeah.
You do need a higher end solution
Stop watching
to actually
Netflix.
start throttling.
Yeah, it's really, I get rid of caps. There's really no reason for caps. And all of the cable internet providers are raising prices this year. They're making so much money. It's now $75 a month for my Comcast internet if I don't get TV too. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. For terrible service, kind of inadequate bandwidth, and bandwidth caps. It's incredibly frustrating. Yeah. Anyway, I like Eero a lot. Yes, they're a sponsor, but you notice that's what I'm using at home, and it's what I set my mom up with. And they do most of what you would want. And it's really great. I mean, just your use case, that's exactly what I'm doing. I can check. My daughter's on the Google Wi-Fi, and do the same thing with her. I could check. In fact, she's just moved, so I'm checking every hour today to see if her Wi-Fi's up yet, because I made the switch off, and I just wanted to.
That's weird how that's become the new determinant of, oh yeah, they're all settled in because they're connected.
The Wi-Fi's working, yeah.
I will actually, let me add one more thing, Leo, and that is some people will recommend a proxy solution. Like there's even a proxy
Squid, for instance.
Something like that.
Yep.
And that used to make a lot of sense, because it would be, if you're reloading the same page over and over, then why are you always getting a new copy? The problem is that's not where most of our bandwidth is going anymore. It's now going to media-rich content, which does not cache well.
Okay.
You cannot cache Netflix.
Okay.
You cannot cache Amazon Prime. You cannot cache YouTube. So those are very limited use products.
Yeah, and I think in cases like Netflix, if the ISP's doing the right job of caching, you're going to get good performance anyway, because you're getting it from a local network server as opposed to Netflix headquarters and so forth. Ron, it was a great question. I hope that helps a little bit. Again, I like Eero an awful lot. I think that's a really good way to go.
It works incredibly well.
Next week, Ian Thompson is my co-host. If you have some tech questions and you want to ask me or Ian, here's how.
Need tech help? The new screensavers are here with answers. Email your tech questions to newscreensavers@twit.tv.
I should be driving. I should always be driving.
I should always be dancing.
Our show today brought to you by FreshBooks. This was a company back in 2004 that turned my sad song into a happy dance. I used to go up to Canada to do the Call for Help show up there on Rogers, and I had to bill them at the end of the month for my time, all my expenses. I had to collect all the receipts. It was in Canadian dollars. I had to do the conversion, and then I had to print the invoice, lick a stamp, put it on the envelope, and mail it to them. And frankly, it was such a pain in the butt. And I bet if you do this, you put it off, right? One thing I did learn, though, if you don't bill people, they don't pay you. And the longer you go, the madder they get when they finally do get the bill. Amber MacArthur told me there's a better way. This is 2004. They had just started FreshBooks. They're up there. They were up there in the Toronto area, and I was so happy to find them. First of all, they make it incredibly easy to create and send invoices in any currency. You have a FreshBooks app which lets you take pictures of receipts so expenses go in really easily. And here's the interesting thing, and as FreshBooks has evolved, by the way, I think I was the first user. There are now 10 million users. That's pretty awesome. I'm really proud of these guys. What they've done is, it turns out if you're using them to send invoices, to mark invoices received, to see what's receivable and hasn't been paid, if you're putting expenses in, well, lo and behold, you're giving them all the information they need to basically do your accounting for you. So when you go to the new FreshBooks dashboard, you'll see exactly what's going on. You'll see who owes you money, who's paid. You'll see whether you're making money or not. For a lot of small businesses, certainly me, I had no idea until tax time. Did I make money this year? I don't know. Now you'll know every step of the way. And boy, when tax season comes, You'll be so happy. It has all the serious reports, the accounting reports you need, outstanding balances, total profit, so you can easily do your tax. I just love FreshBooks. Save time too, because you will get paid, just as you get those invoices out faster, you get paid faster, because every invoice has an online payment button. So because you can now accept credit cards without any extra effort on your part, you're going to get paid a lot faster. Turns out your clients hate paying bills as much as you do making bills. It's something we all hate. It's the bookwork. The paper. That's not why you got into business. Do it with FreshBooks. You get paid on average, get this, twice as fast. No more chasing clients for payments. No more waiting in line at the bank to deposit the checks. You just accept credit card payments directly from within the invoice. You can even see which invoices have been viewed. So you no longer can the client say, "Oh, I didn't get your invoice." Yes, you did. I know you did. You looked at it yesterday. You can create proposals too. Inside FreshBooks gives you a gorgeous, rich text content, images, customizable sections. So you are making a beautiful proposal, showcasing the value you bring to prospective clients. And when they say, yes, I'm going to do it, you're all set up. You already have all their information in there. You have the proposal. You can have different rates for every service. You can time, if you do bill for hours, you can time it with the FreshBooks app or on the FreshBooks website. Put your business on autopilot. From payment reminders to late fees, automate as much as or as little as you'd like to, and frankly, get back to doing what you love. The reason you got into this business in the first place is not paperwork. FreshBooks, they do the hard stuff, you do the fun stuff. With FreshBooks, you can stay connected to your clients, keep tabs on your business everywhere, online all the time. Make 2018 your most productive year yet. Try FreshBooks free, 30 days, freshbooks.com/NSS. Do us a favor, though. In the How Did You Hear About Us section of the form there, would you please put the new screensavers? That would be really great. Freshbooks.com/NSS. And we thank FreshBooks so much for their support of the new screensavers. I had no idea. See, this is why you got to watch All About Android. Jason Howell hosts that show along with Florence Ion, Ron Richards. And there's a brand new app for you Android users called Files Go, and this is why you're going to want to install it right away. Jason?
Android has been a thing for a little more than around 9 years now, and can you believe that after all this time, Google finally released an official file management app for the OS? Files Go is almost more of a space savings app than it is a simple file manager. From the main screen, you see front and center the amount of space that you have compared to the total capacity for your device at a glance. Below that metric there are listed a number of swipeable, kind of Google Now style cards that illustrate the many ways that you can clean up the files on your device to reclaim some valuable storage. Now, I'm sure you've installed a number of apps fully expecting to use them every single day forever and ever, only to let them languish, occupying valuable space on your device. Well, Files Go has this unused apps function that can find apps that you haven't used in a while and monitor those so you can uninstall them and then, of course, reclaim that space. Maybe there's some app crud. That's temporary app files, residue from apps that don't need to be there anymore. Though definitely scour through that list to be sure you aren't ejecting stuff that you might want to keep. Files in your download folder are commonly temporary, so it's easy to blow those out. And as you can see, large files, which in my case is really just a bunch of videos recorded on the device. Now that's awesome right there. I've freed up around 500 megs. Now I can go down to the bottom into the file section to narrow my view to different file types and folders, many of which are the same from the screen we just left, but this allows for more fine-tuned management of my files. Apps, for example, allows me to locate any APK files that might still be sitting on my device somewhere. I can definitely get rid of those. And finally, you'll see down below this cool option to transfer files securely and without internet. Think of this as Android's flavor of AirDrop, the feature on iOS that allows for easy file transfer between devices. You should know that this is only possible if both devices have the Files Go app installed, which means you won't be receiving any unsolicited files from that random person that's nearby. It's a bit more intentional in this case. And once granted permission, I can send and receive a file by connecting directly to a nearby device through the app. It's actually very easy. After a simple simple confirmation process. The file is then transferred via Bluetooth. It's simple and it's fast. And Files Go is less than 10 megs of space on your device, the actual app itself. How's that for space savings? I'm Jason Howell. Catch me on All About Android, covering apps just like this each and every week here on twit.tv.
That's great. I saved 3 gigabytes, just like boom, like that. But I'm not deleting those unused apps.
No, some of those are really, really useful.
Someday I might want to play Minecraft.
Exactly.
And I'll be glad I have it.
Oh, but by the way, Leo, I do have to make a confession. I'm still kind of Theraflu mind-boggled right now because I'm trying to get over the CES crud. I conflated the name of this watch.
It's not the West?
No, the company is called Wheeloop. The watch is called the Hey 3S.
Hey 3S.
I just made that WeS.
WeS. Well,
Wheeloop. WeS.
3 words.
Yeah. How about that? Oh, and something else that we didn't really talk about was that there were an awful lot of drones at CES.
Oh my God, it's so cute and little.
Including one that you might really like that can actually land in water.
Yeah, I need that one.
Yeah.
Mine landed in water.
But you got your eyes on a Mavic, right?
Well, I had the Mavic Pro, which I really, really liked. It's funny, I brought back the batteries, the extra wings, the case, and I gave it away because I said, well, if you want this, it's got everything but the drone. Anthony took it. He's thinking maybe you get a Mavic. But I heard, now this is a rumor, I don't know if they showed it at CES, but I heard that Mavic has, there's going to be, DJI has a new Mavic mini or a smaller foldable drone. So maybe, I don't know, I think I probably shouldn't own a drone. What's your favorite drone that you saw? Look, it's a submarine.
That's one of the submarine ones. Actually, we've got...
So that one you actually do throw over the side.
2 of the companies that make either submarine drones or waterproof drones are in the Bay Area. So hopefully they can come up and show you.
Yeah.
Also, there's one company, they make a product called Shift. I think it's for you because I think the problem you're having is you are not a 2-joystick person.
Yeah.
You don't think it in that way. This is one-hand control that I think might give you your drone legs.
I should just practice more.
Oh, you could practice more.
And not do it on a tossing boat on an open ocean in a 20-mile-an-hour wind.
Yeah, so it hit the deck and then tumbled over the rail. I mean, I just can't. Oh, that would be the worst.
It's a sad feeling because you just look at it and there's nothing you can't like. My son's going, well, I'll leap in. I said, no, it's goodbye. It's gone. Blub 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 blub. No, I have learned my lesson. I am not a droner.
You're not.
Well, I am in work, but not at play. Not at play. It's time for the mailbox. Let us drone. Oh, see, you can't steer either, can you?
It's gone off the rail.
If there were a body of water, this would be in it. Yeah. Oh, look, we should give you some emergency underpants. Because you never know. Next time you go to CES.
Wait, is that a thing?
They're safe, they're sanitary, they're secure.
I don't think I want that near my body.
Archie McPhee, it's real-ish.
Wait, that looks like one of those things you order from the back of a comic book.
Actually, I got a tissue box full of emergency underpants by accident when I ordered it on my Amazon Echo. I said, order underpants, and I wasn't paying attention, and that's what I got, emergency underpants. So, put those back.
That's what you get.
That's what you get. Pick a question.
I'll do this one. Ooh. Oh, or I'll do that one, too.
Ooh. Let's see who has question number 1.
You've got one.
Hi, Leo and Robert. We're currently looking to buy a new laptop, but are wondering if it's a good idea under the present conditions with Spectre and Meltdown. Should we go ahead and wait? Or wait, or up the configuration from an i5 to an i7 with 8 gigs of RAM to 16 gigs of RAM? Thanks for all you do, Jerry. That is a really interesting question.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you asked Intel if the next generation chips would fix, I'm sure they will, fix the Meltdown and Spectre problem.
Yeah, well, that was the default response. So at the Intel booth, and of course, you can't get these people in trouble and say, why is your stuff messed up?
Yeah, they're not going to.
But I said, how long will it take for the channel to drain of the defective chips? And even then, they didn't like calling them defective. And fresh chips to make it in.
Well, they just came out with 8th generation chips.
They did,
so we're going to be a while before the. And it's also a question is, what is the fix? Is there a fix? If you take out speculative execution, which is the problem, you get a pretty slow chip. That really was a big improvement in chip performance. But I think, and this is my limited understanding, which I glean mostly from listening to Steve Gibson, and my eyes cross. But my sense is that it is possible to say in a chip, user-land applications cannot see the cache from kernel applications. That's what the leak is, basically.
Right.
Is that there's leftover cache from the kernel process, and the user-land process can snoop on it.
Yeah. It's every time you switch from a user
If you
process
switch
to an OS
context.
process.
And so the initial fix is just say, well, if you're going to switch, then you flush the cache, and that's where you get big performance degradation. But if you could do it and not flush the cache, just say, well, you don't have the right to look at that. Just as a user-land app doesn't have a right to look at ring 0 memory. I mean, there's protected memory. So my sense is it probably is possible in a processor to make that change, but I gather that it's not possible in existing processors. You got to redesign the microcode.
So the talking point at the booth was that they're basically going to take the fix that they're developing now, and they're going to integrate it into the chip itself.
Right.
So it will take a performance hit, but it will be a performance hit from the origin of the chip. And as long as they keep increasing, it won't be as bad.
Now, I'm not sure I trust Intel or AMD or the ARM manufacturers in this, because we're starting to get now benchmarks from patched computers, and it's actually worse than we thought in some situations.
If you've got a brand spanking new Intel chip,
it's less worse.
It's less worse. But if you have Haswell or older, the 30% might be an understatement.
Yeah.
And now part of that is because the patches that they're pushing out right now are kind of buggy.
They're the quick and dirty, let's fix it and so maybe we'll get better, more efficient patches.
I hope they do. But and you know, when I was going around, I was deliberately not looking at laptops because I was thinking I wouldn't want to buy a laptop right now.
If you could wait.
If you could wait until the next Intel cycle. So what are we on?
9th generation.
I can't remember what we're at.
We're at Coffee Lake right now, right?
Right. Yeah. And
so
they just
wait
came
for
out.
the 9th generation.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what that's going to be called. I think it's another lake, but I don't remember. Anyway.
And I don't want to do the FUD thing and say, oh my gosh, all the laptops are busted. If you buy a new one, you will take a performance hit, but it'll be a relatively low performance hit. And I mean, unless you are an enterprise guy or you're doing a lot of I/O, high I/O, it's not going to be that bad.
I think most people are not going to be hit by it. In fact, I have a Haswell 2015 MacBook Pro. That's my main laptop, and it's I'm sure it's taking a performance hit. It's patched. Yeah. But you can't in day-to-day operations. You don't see it. It's only in those operations where you are switching back and forth between the kernel operations and your application. And that's things like writing to disk, reading from disk, those are kernel operations. So yeah, when you load in a file, it's gonna be a little slower, but then you're typing, you're not doing any kernel calls.
Yeah.
And then when you save it, it's gonna be a little bit slower. That's not gonna affect most people.
I think the ones where you're gonna see it the most are virtualization, because there's always switching process.
Servers really are taking a hit.
Unfortunately, I think you're also gonna take a big hit if you're doing high definition video editing.
Yeah,
because you are going back and forth all the time.
You're writing a lot to the disk, yeah.
So, and we're gonna test it here on Twit, because I've got two identical laptops, i7s, they're both Haswells. And I'm going to wait until they have a patch that actually works. I've got one that will be patched, one that will not be patched, and I'm going to benchmark them both. We'll see.
You know who I really feel bad for is people who just bought a high-end new PC for $8,000.
Good thing that there's going to be a recall.
Is there?
No. They didn't recall the last time. They're not going to recall this time.
It's a Xeon W in there. I don't know. It's so fast, I don't really know.
If you want to see how this story is going to settle out, watch the enterprise side. Because with Meltdown Spectre and now the Intel management bug, there's
a new Intel management bug, a brand new one.
They're going to demand some reparations for this.
I don't... And it's not like you could say, oh, well, that means I'm buying AMD. No, it's AMD too.
They've got this. Well, I mean, they're not affected by the management or by Meltdown, but by Spectre. Yeah, anything that does predictive branching, there you go. I'm sorry, Leo.
I feel like it's...
but that monitor is really beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, this is the Leo effect. It's gotten worse. It's actually gotten worse. Now, I buy something, they don't discontinue it, they just make it really suck.
We're ending on such a high note.
Actually, I'll be honest, and I should have done benchmarks before I did the mitigation. It doesn't feel slow to me. It's such a
fast computer.
Machine.
Yeah, it's slower, but slower than crazy fast. So, all right, let's try this. How about this? Hi, new screensavers. I'm a longtime Android user, but I'm getting more and more disillusioned with the way privacy and security seems less than an afterthought on the platform. I'm a hair away from switching to iPhone. Is there anything I can do or download that could increase Android security and privacy to at least iPhone levels. Any help would be appreciated. Doran.
First of all, by the way, Meltdown Inspector, that's where besides virtualization and shared servers, it's going to be bad on Android because most Android phones will never be upgraded. And so they're going to have those problems, and they're going to have them forever. I think there's only one thing you can do that will give you some sort of approximation of iPhone privacy and security, and that's get a Samsung phone, because they have a secure enclave on it, similar to what Apple does. You have to trust that Samsung's privacy policies are as strong as Apple's. I believe they are. Samsung's Galaxy phones have been approved for use by the Department of Defense and in government because they have a very strong security policy. They have hardware encryption built in. They even have things like a private folder where you can move files that you want to keep private. This is something even Apple doesn't do, that you want to keep private in an encrypted separate folder. I think that Samsung's the closest thing at this point to an Apple in security, and whether it's the same or not, it's certainly the best thing you can do in Android.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Samsung's the approach with the secure enclave, that's fantastic. I absolutely want a feature like that on all Android phones. The other thing is, you need to pick a phone, a manufacturer that's actually going to update their software.
That's big.
That's huge. Unfortunately, if you're buying a budget Android phone, you're probably buying a phone that's never going to be upgraded.
Yeah.
And that means you're going to suffer every exploit that's ever found for that particular operating system. That's not a good way to operate.
I stick with the Pixel 2.
Pixel 2 is a good
I love
way to
my
go.
Pixel 2 XL, but I don't think it has that kind of security. Samsung calls it Knox, K-N-O-X, as in Fort Knox. I think Samsung's Knox is really the secret to making Samsung as secure or close to it as the iPhone.
Right. Now, but here's the fun thing. There's not that big of a difference between iPhone and Android. I mean, if you are a hair's breadth from switching, it means that you find that phone to be attractive.
Right.
And I would say, okay, use that.
Yeah.
The operating system wars are over. You use Android if it works for you. You use iOS if it works for you. You use Windows or Mac OS. It doesn't matter. You just find the tool set that fits the way that you work. And if you can switch back and forth, sure, go with the iPhone.
Yeah.
I got my mom an iPhone for that very reason.
Although I have to say, the idea that iPhone is somehow magically secure because, for instance, Apple reviews all the apps. Well, we've seen stuff leak into the App Store, lots of stuff leak into the App Store on both sides. So and while Apple pays a lot of lip service to privacy, if the government comes a-calling, they hand over, as much as they can. One of the things that Apple's doing, I think, to prevent that is encrypting more and more so that they can't even see it. That gets them off the hook with governments. And it's not the U.S. government they're worried about. It's China and other governments. They really don't want to get in the position of handing over information to authoritarian regimes like China. So I think I trust Apple. I feel like, and I have to say, the dissidents I've heard from, the people who are concerned about government surveillance in other countries especially, I've heard from, all use iPhones.
Yeah.
And so I think, the next best thing on Android is Knox, but really, I guess the iPhone's the gold standard.
And I noticed neither of us mentioned the secure phone or any of the super blackout. No.
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like that's a gimmick.
Yeah.
And the other thing you should really understand, when you're carrying around a smartphone, you're carrying around the ultimate surveillance device. It's got a microphone, it's got a camera, it's got GPS, and all of that can be turned on remotely with a government subpoena or warrant.
Or just the fact that you're connected to a network that can triangulate your position at all times.
Always on.
Yeah.
If you really want to be private, the first thing you do is you get, what happens in The Bourne Identity? Jason Bourne picks up the young lady. She's in peril. He's got to rescue her from the bad guys. First thing he does, he says, give me your phone. He takes it, he smashes it, he throws it out the window.
Or you just take the battery out. Oh, wait.
That's more fun to smash it.
Actually, totally off the rails, but you will remember a couple of years ago, there was a case in New York where the DOJ was using BlackBerries against the mafia. And they figured out that even after you take the battery out, there's enough charge in there that you could still listen in.
And good luck taking the battery out of any modern smartphone anyway.
Oh, but you can do that if you smash it,
That's the thing. Smash it and then throw it out the window, so at least they'll be tracking you to where you were, not where you're going.
Can we do a privacy episode of Know How where at the end you just walk in and just, here's ultimate privacy?
I seriously think that anybody who thinks that they can carry a smartphone and have privacy is living in a fool's paradise. I really do.
And actually, that's the best answer to this question, which is how do you stay secure? You have to know. Understand, there is no magic brand. There's no magic software that you're going to be able to install. Understand what you do when you use one of these devices and just know that that's a risk.
I don't care if people know what I'm doing.
I do.
Privacy's overrated. Do you?
I do.
Who are you worried about? Government or industry?
Black Ops.
Black Ops. Just because you dress like a ninja doesn't mean that somebody's after you. I'm just saying. Father Robert Ballecer, Society of Jesuits. He's the digital Jesuit. He is such a great guy and such a good friend, and we always love having you on this show. Catch his work at KnowHow, twit.tv/KH, and Twyat this week in Enterprise Tech, at Padre SJ on the Twitter. And just, watch the heck out of this guy while you can, because pretty soon he's going to work for a higher authority.
By the way, I'm very excited because I'm going to have you on Know How in a couple of episodes.
Let's do that Bitcoin episode.
Let's do
I really
that
want to do that.
Absolutely.
That'll be a lot of fun. You could try to get into my wallet.
Now we have a show title. Getting into Leo's wallet.
Please. We do this show every Saturday right after the Tech Guy radio show. That's about 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 2300 UTC. That means you could come, you can watch it live. You can either do it on the website, twit.tv/live. If you do that, though, do me a favor. Fire up another window and go to irc.twit.tv and join us in the chat room. You can be part of the kids in the back of the class are throwing Bitcoin at us all the time. If you want to be in studio, we'd love to have you, but please don't surprise us. Mo has a trigger finger, and he's very sensitive. So, what do they call that, a hair trigger? You don't want to scare Mo. I'm telling you. I snuck up on him once, and it was not a pretty thing. So email us. No, I'm just kidding. Mo's a sweetheart. But he is armed. Email us. He's got a taser and a gun.
He does. He has both.
So he'll use whatever. If he can go non-lethal on you, he will. But don't count on it. So that's why you'd like to email tickets. I just like teasing him. He's a sweetheart. Tickets at twit.tv. That way we can put a chair out for you. You could join us like our friends from Sacramento, Paul and Terry. It's nice to have you. They're going up to the wine country. This is why we get visitors, because we're on the way to the wine country. And this is the beer country. So you get both. You get beer and you get wine. Come visit us. We'd love to have you. Tickets at twit.tv. If you can't watch live, be in studio live, chat live. You can. He's firing up the drone. You can always get it on demand. Subscribe. That's how you get every single episode. If you just subscribe at twit.tv, and for this show, it's twit.tv/NSS. There's audio and there's video every Saturday. While you're on the website, we're doing our yearly survey. We like to get to know you better, get your input on what we can do better. Twit.tv/survey. It's our 2018 audience survey. It's a big help for us understanding you better. It also, I'll be honest, it helps us explain you to our advertisers, because they always want to know, well, who watches these shows? So it helps us a little bit to say, well, these are the people who watch the show. Not you personally, just in aggregate. Twit.tv/survey. I promise no salesman will call. We will not save your email address. We will not use your email address. Your privacy is, at least with us, guaranteed. We're not spying on you. We don't care.
I care.
So are you not going to fire up the drone?
No. This is a drone safety zone.
Not as far as I'm concerned. No drone is safe with me. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on the new Screensavers. Bye-bye.